Hey guys, it's me, Brenda Living, and welcome you back to Bet You Didn't Know Facts. Again, I'm Brenda Living. I will be hosting this video, and today we're going to talk about a topic that's near and dear to me, which is the ocean. I was born in Florida, so I love the ocean. So we're going to do some top 10 interesting facts about the sea. So let's get waving. Bet you didn't know fact number 1, that the world's longest mountain chain is underwater. The mid-ocean ridge, which is known as the Earth's longest chain of mountains, rests almost entirely beneath the ocean. It spans across a distance of 65,000 kilometers, and the surface of Mars and Venus have been explored more than the mid-ocean ridge. Really? Wow, I wonder what's there then. Bet you didn't know fact number 2, that there are more historic artifacts under the sea than all the world's museums. Wow, that's another wow. In the Florida Keys alone, there have been more than 1,000 shipwrecks. The Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary was developed on November 16, 1990. It is one of 15 marine protected areas. The Marine Sanctuary measures 2,800 square nautical miles, and it protects the Keys, and it goes all the way to the Atlantic Ocean, the Gulf of Mexico, and the Florida Bay. That's a long way. Bet you didn't know that. Fact number 3. Around 50% of the United States lies beneath the ocean. I didn't know this. 200 nautical miles of land that is underwater extends from the coast of the U.S. It is unexplored land. The explorer Robert Ballard, who discovered the Titanic 30 years ago and calls the unexplored land the unknown America. Well, wouldn't that be cool to explore? That is cool. Bet you didn't know fact number 4. There is enough gold in the ocean for us each to have 9 pounds of it. Now, this is cool. There are about 20 million tons of gold that is spread out throughout the oceans. The floor of the ocean has undissolved gold that is embedded deep into it. It is very pricey to mine, though. But if it was, and it was shared equally amongst every person on the planet, we would each receive 9 pounds of gold. Where's my gold, people? Where's my gold? I need some of my gold now. Bet you didn't know fact number 5. The Pacific Ocean is wider than the moon. There's another wow. Wow. It stretches wide from Colombia to Indonesia and is much wider than the moon. This part of the ocean reaches 12,300 miles across. 12,300 miles across. I never imagined. This is more than 5 times the diameter of the moon. Whoa. So I didn't know that. I bet you didn't know that. Number 6. Just one iceberg, this is very interesting, could supply 1 million people with drinking water for 5 years. The icebergs in Antarctica contain far more than 20 billion gallons of water. Wow. Wow. I'm into wow today. It's the wow day, which could most definitely supply over 1 million people with drinking water for 5 years. How come nobody's ever thought of this? I just don't get it. 7. Bet you didn't know that the planet's biggest waterfall is in the ocean. The tallest waterfall on the planet is the Denmark Strait Cataract, which is underwater between Greenland and Iceland, and it was formed by a temperature difference in the waters on either side of the strait. This amazing fall has a drop of 11,500 feet. The flow rate is more than 123 million cubic feet per second and is 50,000 times that of Niagara Falls. Man, can you imagine? And this is underwater. It's in the ocean. I just cannot imagine. That is just... Bet you didn't know fact number 8. The sea ice is drinkable. Never thought about that. You wouldn't want to drink water from the sea, but you can as long as it's not fresh sea ice. This is because it has little pockets of brine trapped in between ice crystals. When the ice ages, the brine drains out. The ice becomes fresh enough, it can be melted then and drunk. Woo. Yeah, because there's another problem solved right there. Look at this. Why has no one ever thought about this? Bet you didn't know. Fact number 9. Tsunamis move at 500 miles per hour. That's fast. Tsunamis are triggered by seismic events according to NOAA's Pacific Tsunami Warning Center, and they travel across the ocean at speeds of 500 miles an hour when the ocean depth is 3.7 miles. The waves are usually not noticed as they are just a few inches above the surface. When the waves move towards the land, the depth shrinks. Water is picked up and increases above the surface size and then slows down. I just know that's fast. Wow. Wow again. Should get a ding for every wow. Number 10. Bet you didn't know that there are 3 million shipwrecks in the ocean. I would have thought probably more. According to the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, the ocean is home to close to 3 million shipwrecks. These include the Titanic and Christopher Columbus's Santa Maria. Oh, that'd be cool to explore. Some of these wrecks are thousands of years old and can provide valuable historical information. I can imagine that they would. That is so cool. I said 10, but I think we're going to go to at least 20. How about that? Number 11, bet you didn't know fact. If all the ice melted, the sea level would rise 26 stories. It has been studied by the NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. If all of the glaciers and sheets of Arctic sea ice melted at the same time, it's got to be at the same time, the sea level would rise an estimated 262 feet, which is the height of a 26-story building, and that's just a bit shorter than the Statue of Liberty. Goodness gracious, that's big. Wow. Bet you didn't know fact number 12. Icebergs, 45,000. We have 45,000 icebergs that have a lifespan of around 4 years. They are important for the carbon cycle and determine how safely the water will be. And determine how salty the water will be in those areas where the icebergs are. They have a lifespan of 4 years. That's an interesting fact too. Bet you didn't know fact number 13. The corals. It's been estimated that the coral reefs cover 284,300 square kilometers, under 1% of the ocean surfaces. They are dying around the world because of the coral mining, the agriculture, and urban runoff. The mass pollution, both inorganic and organic, the nonstop fishing, using blast fishing, digging of canals, and disease, and the access into all the new islands and bays. It's causing us to lose our corals, and those are gorgeous, gorgeous things. So let's stop all that. Okay. Bet you didn't know fact number 14. Mangroves. Do you know what mangroves are? There are about 80 different species of mangrove trees. The trees are home to 85% of all fish you find in the tropical regions. Wow. You can find these and see all the beautiful fish species that can't be found anywhere else in the world. Wow. I'd like to see those. Those would be interesting. Bet you didn't know fact number 15. The depth. Average of the ocean. I bet that is, let's see. I bet that's really deep. Oh, let's see. The average of all oceans are 4,267 meters. In miles, it's 2,651.39 miles. That's deep. There's a whole nother world down there. There are mountains, valleys, hills, and holes. I bet there's lots of holes. Yeah. But I bet you didn't know that in the waters deep on the sea floor, the seafloor. I couldn't even say it. The seafloor in the Gulf of Mexico, there are underwater lakes and rivers. How is this even possible? I don't understand it. That is my question. These lakes and rivers formed when the seawater leaks and comes up into the salt layers and starts to dissolve them. This makes them fall down and form these depressions, and the dissolved salt makes the water denser than the surrounding water, and it is then settles into this depression and begins forming a reservoir or a lake. Now that's something I really didn't know. The deepest part of the ocean is called the Mariana French the Mariana Fresh Isles, and it's 7 miles deep, located in the South Pacific Ocean. 7 miles deep. The ocean is 7 miles deep. Wow. There's another one. Ding. Number 16. Bet you didn't know that the Ring of Fire. Have you heard of the Ring of Fire? There's for sure another world deep down below the dark depths. In the Pacific Basin, orange and red flashes in the pitch black. There is lava rolling across the floor of the ocean. It seeps from the cracks as the earthquakes rumble and the tectonic plates roar as the plates grate against each other. Can you imagine the sound? The Pacific Basin is one of the most active places on Earth. Scientists came up with the nickname Ring of Fire because of all the movement of the plates has caused a continuous series of oceanic trenches and chains of volcanoes that stretch for 25,000 miles. 25,000 miles. The Ring of Fire is home to hundreds of volcanoes. Hundreds of volcanoes. 75% of all volcanic activity on Earth happens in the ocean. Obviously in the Ring of Fire. I thought that was just a song. Now I know. Bet you didn't know fact number 17. What makes the ocean blue? Wasn't that a rhyme? Makes the ocean. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you what. It's the sun. It's where it reflects the red and the orange and yellow that are absorbed more strongly by water than it's blue. This leaves the blue reflected, and that's what causes us to see the blue in the ocean when the blue is reflected off the water, because the yellow and red and orange are absorbed more strongly, and that leaves the blue reflecting. Does that make sense? Yes, I think that it does. Okay, so that is why the ocean is blue. But where is this ocean blue at? Because I have never actually seen a blue ocean. I've seen a dark green that you can't see through. That's really not my favorite kind of ocean. I want one of those blue ones that you can see through. Where are these at? I need to be there. Anyway, bet you didn't know fact number 18. The loudest sound that has ever been recorded, and it is just so happens to come from an iceberg. This happened in 1997. It was then recorded and given the name the bloop. They say you could have heard it for more than 3,000 miles away. Man, there's a wow for sure. 3,000 miles away. The bloop. That's pretty cool. Okay, bet you didn't know fact number 19. How old is the ocean? Well, it's older than Methuselah. The ocean began about 3.8 billion years ago. The water condensed into rain, which filled the basin we call the ocean. 3 billion years ago. 3.8 billion years ago. The ocean formed from the water and vapor and other gases that escaped from the molten rocks of the earth to the atmosphere and the surrounding the surrounding the cooling planet. I can hear it. When it cooled below, boiling rain fell and fell for centuries. Boiling rain fell. As the water began to drain, it formed the massive hollows in the Earth's surface, and the forces of gravity prevented the water from leaving the planet. And that became the ocean 3.8 billion years ago from the boiling rain. Boiling rain. There's another thing to... Anyway, bet you didn't know fact number 20. Who named the oceans? Well, I'm sure that it wasn't me. The famous explorer Ferdinand Magellan is the one credited for naming the Pacific Ocean in the 16th century. It covers about 59 million square miles, and it contains more than half of the free water on Earth, and is by far the largest of the world's oceans. So Ferdinand Magellan is the man who started it all with the ocean naming. Way to go, Ferdinand. Thanks for the Pacific Ocean. And thanks for being here. See you next video.